Peggy 18.
Hi, I'm Alex Simmons and I'm joined by Daniel Krupa.
Hello.
And we're going to take a look through the first gameplay trailer for Grand Theft Auto 5.
It's quite exciting, isn't it?
It's exceptionally exciting. It's a long trailer, it's 4 minutes 50, so we're going to go through, or try and get through it as fast as we can.
In a number of ways.
So there you go, there's the first kind of in-game shot. A lot of this is using game assets, but there you go.
Suck it up, that is your first in-game clip of GTA. So flying over the dam, that's Land
Experience
Act
that
Dam.
again.
The game world is beautiful.
Jets.
You okay, Alex?
I'm okay. But so you're taking a look over Los Santos itself at sunset. And man, that is a good looking game. Look, you're seeing kind of like lens flare.
It's a good amount of smog as well, dirty city.
Dirty
city.
But polar opposite is down on the beach. That is
City at night. So at the beginning of the trailer, it just gives you kind of a big overview of different aspects of the city.
Yeah, it's a huge world. It's obviously, you've got the city of Los Santos itself, but then you've got all of the surrounding areas, including this, which is obviously Mount Chiliad. And this really kind of displays the verticality. That's a phrase that Rockstar has been, throwing out there non-stop, but illustrates this game is just as tall as it is wide, I guess, is the best phrase.
And what Rockstar said to us is, unlike previous GTAs, there won't be kind of bridges that are closed off. You can go anywhere you want in the game, right from the beginning. And I think the beginning of this trailer really showcases just how big a world that is.
Yeah, because that mountain is vast. Yeah, God knows how long it's going to take you to kind of climb up there, or mountain bike, or whatever. Obviously, once you're at the top, you can then base jump off, which is a pretty quick way of getting down. But that is a very small part of the overall map. So this game is vast.
And oceans, expensive store.
So GTA is also known for its kind of slightly sardonic shop titles, and this is Ponsonby's.
It's where every connoisseur likes to shop.
It's a good use of the word ponce, basically.
And obviously it looks like it's on the GTA's equivalent of Rodeo Drive.
And strip malls.
It's a bit more out of town, it's a little bit more scuzzy.
Like, that is definitely Trevor's kind of neck of the woods. Yeah, proper
Urban Decay.
hellhole.
Untouched wilderness.
So again, every aspect of the city, the kind of dirty industrial centre, urban centre, and then the kind of more tranquil, salubrious outdoors.
Wilderness. Beaches.
That's one of my favourite things that we saw when we saw the game in action was the ocean spray. Like, look how good that water looks.
It's a small touch, but it really makes the world feel real. And the important point is it's not pre-scripted. It's completely dynamic. Obviously, you're seeing the jet ski cut over it. But in the demo we saw, Trevor kind of drove up in his speedboat. Do you drive a speedboat? I'm not sure. And then jumped in the water, and it was completely seamless, going from that kind of view of above the sea down to the depths of the ocean, which we saw a glimpse of earlier.
So water skis, but also multiple vehicles. Here's some quad bikes on a dirt trail. So there you go. There's every aspect of the city, and then this is kind of the Hollywood-esque district. So there's Man's Chinese Theatre, there's a Republican Space Marine, and then switch to the city, here are the suits. And from this trailer I get the sense that kind of corporate America, corporate greed is almost another one of the targets for Rockstar this time around. Yeah,
obviously, a huge part of the game is heists, so you can bet your bottom dollar that's where you're going to be pulling off probably some of your bigger jobs later in the game.
This is Franklin at work.
It is.
It's a car dealership.
He's a repo man, so he goes around and basically steals back the really high-end sports cars that people can no longer afford to pay for.
One of my favourite little touches here is the boss has actually given himself Employee of the Month.
That's what I plan to do.
It's like working for you.
Exactly. Every month.
So there you go, GTA 5, let's get into it.
So what we doing here?
So here are the three main characters. I assume this is Trevor's apartment from looking at the kind of worn sofa and the attempt to cut up a pizza using a Bowie knife or a hunter's knife.
It's the way real men cut up their pizzas.
Working, amigo.
For the first
And
time.
look at his really shabby attempt to plan a heist using gaffer tape and crayons.
So the interesting point that you see in the previous shot is obviously you've got the three main characters, Trevor, Franklin and Michael there, but you can also see the arm of another guy down here, bottom right, but then also another guy hiding behind that pillar. So one of the things they talk about later in the trailer is that you have the ability to draft in additional hired hands to help with the planning and probably the execution of the heist that you're doing. So maybe that's a kind of glimpse of what that will look like.
Bank robber.
And here we get a closer look at the three main characters. Is Michael.
You asshole. What did you just say to me?
Yes, we've seen quite a lot in these guys, haven't we? Obviously, Michael has a dysfunctional family. Franklin is just an average guy trying to make good by, extra cash by doing bad things, I guess.
With his dog.
With his dog Chop, and also a hint of some of the gang war stuff that's been, loosely mentioned about in the game, but again, we're not entirely sure how that's going to work.
Probably be a more prominent part of his story.
Yes.
Can't repo the assets of a dead man, big sitting cheap asshole.
And then there's Trevor.
And then just a regular day for Trevor.
Exactly, a severed foot in his toilet. And man, that is dirty water. Oh my god.
Introducing 3 lead characters.
So this scene here, this is kind of gives you a quick glimpse of what I saw back in October when I went over to New York to see GTA for the first time. So set in downtown Los Santos. The idea is that you fly up to that tower there. That is the tower, the base HQ for FIB, which is the game's equivalent of FBI. And you've got a target that you've got to basically extract from that building. So obviously it's GTA, you're not just going to go and call on the front door. So Trevor flies in.
So this, actually, can I just point out one of my favourite background gags in the trailer is instead of Goldberg sacks, Schlongberg sacks. Again, another jest at the expense of corporate America or the big greedy bankers.
Both the narrative.
So yeah, you can see Trevor piloting the helicopter, Michael rappelling out. But obviously, you don't have to play as Michael at that point. You can continue to play as Trevor, or indeed you can play as Franklin, who is currently over in the other tower.
So this is the switching right here. Also worth pointing out that 3 characters have different stats as well: stamina, special, shooting, strength, stealth, flying, driving, and lung capacity.
Yeah, and you've got that little note at the bottom there saying 83 days. So again, not sure what that means.
But you're waiting for someone to get out of prison, maybe.
Who knows? But again, you see that empty slot there. So obviously, you can see from there that you're able to switch between Franklin and between Michael there. But Trevor is greyed out, meaning you can't switch to him.
I wonder if the 83 days is another way of delaying certain key heists in the game. So say you need to perform a particular bang job that requires a very specialised set of skills.
Yeah.
You have to wait till that dude gets out of prison.
Maybe. And then you also see at the top is the special skill. Now each character has their own skills. So Trevor is able to kind of do bullet time driving. Michael can do bullet time shooting, and then Franklin.
The Franklin's the driving. Trevor's
Sorry,
double
you're
the
correct.
damage,
You're
but
correct.
takes double the
That's
deals
right.
double the damage, takes double
He's
the damage.
basically
half the damage
nuts.
even.
To another.
So yeah, switching over to a completely different building. And the idea is obviously the 3 interact with each other to kind of make the most, I guess, exhilarating gameplay. Because otherwise, you'd always only ever play as Michael in the previous GTAs, whereas here you're getting something.
You're a one-man team, aren't you?
Exactly.
And, again, another great advert for Gusset. Oh no, Gusset.
Yes. Gusset.
Gusset. Sorry, I don't speak French, Alex. You know this. So here's Franklin getting some medical attention at the pipe shop, where they also do multi-chamber water pipes, vaporizers, hand pipes, and bubblers.
Yeah.
Which one do you partake of, Alex?
My favourite has to be a vaporizer. I can't beat being vaporized.
When not on
Obviously, this is the equivalent of Venice Beach, just south of Santa Monica in the real world, but I think it's called Las Vespucci Beach or something like that in the game.
touch of voyeurism,
And Muscle Beach is just over on the left.
as you can drop in at any moment and find out what your new friends.
So this is the character switching mechanic. I think you...
We kind of got a glimpse of it in progress, and this
Yeah.
looks like kind of goes up into a satellite type view.
any moment
And
find
like the
out
closer the characters are, the faster the switch is.
Yep.
And I think that's really, really important when you're in the middle of a mission, you want to switch quickly. It's pretty much instantaneous, but if they are off doing their own thing like they are here, and see Michael cycling with his son and Trevor, just antagonising the cops, it takes a little bit longer to zip from one side of the other of the world to the other.
is not only huge, it's packed with a
Look at that, there's so much going on, and you can literally explore every little part.
So here's something we've not really seen much before, is the customization. Loads of options though, lots of different colours. Also, each car seems to have its own stats: top speed, acceleration, braking, and traction.
So, the level of detail here, it's almost on par with kind of Midnight Club when that came out. You can literally change every single part. The rims,
Do you like
the paint job.
Do you like getting your designs done at Fisters? You're easily pleased, aren't you, when it comes to a pun?
Yeah.
It's not even a pun. Wow, there's a lot of different wheels and rims.
But basically...
So it's more than just getting it resprayed, essentially.
STD on the front of the on the bonnet there. But yeah, there is a lot more scope
close
in terms of ways to spend your money. I think earning money in previous GTAs has been not easy, but I guess it's been money has been no issue. But you've pretty much got to spend it on ammo and guns. But now you can much more customization, almost going back to how San Andreas used to be.
Yeah, and I wonder if like I imagine each character has different clothing options available to them.
Yeah, you can't imagine that Michael would shop there.
Well, maybe you can. You know, it's just what's in his neighbourhood is more kind of near, so those are the clothes you tend to choose.
Yeah.
Sports to play.
And here's some of the kind of the smaller in-game games, the mini games. Like golf, look at that, that's brilliant.
But you say smaller games, but
yeah,
it looks
entire
like
games.
a fully fledged golfing game. It's like, obviously, you know...
You can even, actually, bottom right hand corner, you can actually add spin onto the ball.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, you see top left as Michael is playing. You've got everything, top right.
You've got wind direction.
Wind direction, the club you're using.
Yeah, that's a proper golf game, isn't it?
And that's crazy.
Imagine if you just bought it just for the golf game.
Maybe. Yoga?
So this is one of my favourite parts when I saw the game in action. This is, I can't tell who that is, probably Michael. He's on a Zodiac boat, kind of one the kind of military use, and certain boats are equipped with scuba gear. And you can do this anywhere. You can dive beneath the waves. And you just get a glimpse of the kind of richness that you'll find under the water in GTA 5.
It's fully populated.
And that looks great, but from what I've seen, it's even more detailed than that. There's kind of crashed ocean liners and stuff like that to explore underwater.
Animals to spot, hunt, and be hunted by.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. This is obviously Trevor doing his favourite pastime of
Bambi.
putting bullets in Bambi's head, yeah. But the interesting point is obviously you can also be hunted. So if you're going to take on cougars with a pistol, then you've probably got to watch out a little bit.
I love that that's sign's misspelled.
Bounties to hunt, and on and on.
And that's the other point, yeah. If you want to earn extra money, you just hop onto the internet, see what bounties are available, and then go and kill some people.
Is that a pear on the back of the laptop, maybe? Can't quite tell. It looks slightly pear-shaped.
Well, there is in the promotional artwork, there's the girl holding the phone that's got a pear on the back.
Really wonderful. And you?
Somewhere stuck between joyful and...
Oh, it looks more like a peach.
And what they're showing here is some of the new gunplay mechanics. Now, like Rockstar have said that they've spent a lot of time improving the gun mechanics, because that was kind of one of the big criticisms of 4, is that it was better than previous GTAs, but still not what you would expect from a really good third-person shooter.
So we've got a full weapon wheel here, and it's quite interesting. It looks like you can mod each weapon, extended clip, and a grip on the handgun.
So what you've got assault rifle, heavy machine gun, sniper rifle, shotgun, grenade launcher, pistol, dynamite.
And fist.
And punching, yeah. And obviously, bottom right, you've also got body armour.
And each weapon displays its stats on the top right-hand corner: damage, fire rate, accuracy, and range.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, you can see with the accuracy using the pistol there.
Probably from the grip as well.
Whether
probably
it's a grip or a sight or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like there's been a slight modifier on accuracy because the grip's in place.
To make every aspect.
But it looks a lot more fluid than it does in previous GTAs. You know, the speed at which you're kind of snapping between targets feels much more in line with, I don't know, maybe Gears of War or something like that than it has with previous GTAs.
I also like that it's got a Bluetooth headset in. Not just because it makes them look a yuppie, but it's kind of a rationale for how different characters will communicate within the game.
Still, no one looks good with the Bluetooth
No,
headset.
you look like a prat.
Yeah.
You'll always look like a prat.
To tennis and
Full tennis gear. Right, so shooting range, again, fully scored. Target silver score time.
Yeah.
With multipliers and a full tennis game.
Right. And what you can see there is, going back to the cycling, is that obviously you can cycle just as a means of getting around the town, but here it's a proper race where you've got to get from, I assume, point A to point B, but you've got to take into account stamina.
Full Bradley Wiggins. And look at the great tarmac shine from the sun as well.
it's fun
Great
and
effect.
responsive.
And then base jumping. Man, that looks amazing. Obviously, we saw it from the peak of Mount Chiliad a minute ago, and then you're dropping down into Blaine County there.
For all their pretensions, these men are dangerous thieves.
It's an industrial.
This part of the trailer really focuses on the core aspect of the game, which is the kind of heists.
Yeah.
That kind of underpin it.
So this was the heist that we saw a couple of months ago when we saw the game. So basically, the three of them are basically trying to rob a bank truck.
Slightly like Heat as well, that they cornered them in the back alley. So the camera would switch to the character driving this truck at this point, so you can take out.
I can't remember who that was, but I think it was Michael, maybe. I think.
And pull off a series of increasingly audacious heists.
Gentlemen, some plans for your attention.
So who's this chap, do you think?
I'm imagining that he's one of the guys that you draft in to help with the planning. So
He looks like, I don't know, what do you reckon his expertise would be? I thought that very tactically. He looked like a fraudster, I think. So let's have a look at the to-do list. You've got Scout Town, test security, time cop response, pick your crew. Again, that leads to what we were saying about you're going to hire people in and get military gear.
That's what it looks like, yeah. So be interesting, like, you know, is that literally going to be get military gear? Do you just go to ammunition and buy it, or is it going to be, well, actually, you've got to go and find it?
I think you've got to like get like raid a military base. So
proper
contributing to one heist, you've got basically their 5 mini missions, or 5 probably full missions, culminating in the heist, which is the kind of big spectacle set piece.
Yeah.
Again, another heist here.
This is the jewel store, but again, it looks like you've got complete freedom over who you pick down the bottom. That's your potential team, and I'm guessing they've all got their
different
own
expertise.
Where
so
you can see it.
I wonder if the crew selection actually determines the way that you approach the mission, because in a minute we'll see 2 different ways of taking on the jewellery store. So I think that may be the way that you decide how you do it, is which character comes along with you.
Player sets these up themselves.
So again, you can see it there. It's slightly different. So same thing. You've still got, you know, evaluating security. You're scouting out by doing
Photograph the
photography.
interior. It sounds like a stealth mission to me.
Yeah, I would assume you've probably got a pin camera or something like that.
Or you go in with a lady, posing like you're getting married or something like that.
Yeah.
Or with Trevor dressed as a woman.
But again, different gear, carbon rifles this time. But again, there's your 2 options. You've got option A, go in loud, all guns blazing, or be smart and look at tear gas, ways of knocking out the people who go in.
So Paige, for instance, got decryption skills and access speed, so that should be more perfectly suited to kind of the stealth approach.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways I see of doing this. We go in
So
smart.
tear gas, like knocking the people out, and then you can go in and, at your own pace and steal the jewellery, or crash helmets on, guns in faces. What's your favourite approach?
Don't make me ruin all the great
Always a gun in the face.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You decide what to spend.
You know me too well.
Anything from
So again, more character customization, slightly more permanent form of character customization.
You can never tire of seeing Trevor in his undercrackers.
Oh, I want monster pups and a tweaker.
sensible investments, like tattoos and
He's got Michael tattooed on his arm.
They're good friends, man. They go way back.
But it says R.I.P. Michael. Spoiler. No, I don't think so. Maybe Michael.
Maybe it's Michael Hutchins.
like tattoos, cars.
Big NXS fan.
Right, this person demoing this game is too good. Obviously, just watch this. I'll be crashing into all of that.
That's pretty insane.
So again, another layer to the game. You can play the stock market, it seems.
Yeah, so obviously we've mentioned all the different ways you can spend your money, but there are ways to make money as well. So, you know, playing the stock market, buying property. Yeah, I'm going to invest my money in CNT. I don't know about you.
I just realised what the name of the stock exchange is called. All sack. Good. I wonder if you can kind of play the market. So if you invest in something and then maybe destroy its rival, like blow it up or something, you'll actually manipulate the stock market to make more money.
Yeah.
Ventures like stocks and Los Santos real estate.
That's a pretty sweet pad.
That is a pretty sweet pad. It's going to cost you a small fortune, but then, you know, this is our first glimpse at, multiplayer.
Because that's neither Michael, Trevor, nor Franklin, is it?
But this is our first look at what GTA 5's multiplayer is potentially going to be like. And obviously you've got people down in cars, people flying helicopters,
Which we will show you.
and even someone flying a jet fighter. Like, that is like Battlefield set in Los Santos, which quite frankly, man, I cannot wait. I have no idea how it's going to work because, you know, city that size, you're going to need at least 64 players, I should imagine, playing against each other.
That looks incredible.
The scope.
And imagine your like apartment's fully customizable depending on how well you do in multiplayer.
Yeah. But I wonder, you know, is that actually a scene from multiplayer? Are you inside that building? Can you go inside buildings during multiplayer? Because if so, again, that opens up the world even further. You know, it's a huge
I imagine
amount to
multiplayer is something we're going to learn a lot more about in the next coming months.
Yeah. And obviously, again, looking at the map, you can see, well, it looks like you've got a race over there. So maybe it's a persistent world. Maybe what's happening is you've got races happening in one part of the city, you know, air battles happening in another part of the city, you know, heists happening everywhere. I don't know, but I literally cannot wait to find out. So that's your very first look at gameplay for GTA 5. For everything Grand Theft Auto, stay locked on IGN.